How many of you have heard of or seen the Sailor Moon musicals before? Okay, we have a few. Excellent, excellent. I did this panel in Calgary as well too, and there was not very many people that knew it there. So, welcome to the Sailor Moon 25th anniversary celebration. I feel old. How about you? You guys feel old too? 25 years, pretty good. Today we're going to go through a bunch of nostalgia things. I've got some clips from the original English dub. I've got some weird stuff that you may. I don't know if you've ever heard of the radio play Sailor Moon Stupid. That was back in the 90s, or that My Little Pony, not a specific canon episode, but someone did a My Little Pony Meets Sailor Moon episode, and many other things like that from there. So, my name is Jeremy. I'm the former programming director for Anime Revolution for the past 6 years. This year I'm panelist and MC and so on, so it's nice to meet you all. I'm that guy that does the performance where I start as Goku and transform into Sailor Moon. If you've ever been to the opening and closing ceremonies or my concerts and stuff before. But, all right, so let's start from the very beginning. Sailor Moon Classic, of course, episodes 1 to 46, aired March 7th, 1992 to February 27th, 1993. So the 90s feel like just yesterday to me. I don't know about the rest of you, but Sailor Moon R, episodes 47 to 89, aired from March 6th, 1993 to March 12th, 1994. Then we got S, episodes 90 to 127, from March 19th, 1994 to February 25th, 1995. Sailor Moon Super S, episodes 128 to 166, were March 4th, 1995 until March 2nd, 1996. And the final series, Sailor Stars, 167 to 200, was first aired March 9th, 1996 to February 8th, 1997. Now, of course, we never had an official English dub for Sailor Stars, but Viz Media is working on it right now. And they're talking about having some transgender voice actors play the Starlights, which is really good. I remember Charlene, who used to be part of Viz Media, she was telling me when she was here last time that's what they're going to look for. So, very inclusive and wonderful. But I do ask this question to any Sailor Moon panel that I pretty much do. Don't be afraid to answer truthfully. Which do you like better? The older dub or the Viz Media dub? So the older Deke Cloverway dub. Okay, and the Viz Media dub.
I like both.
You like both? Okay, how many like both? There we go. Okay, perfect. My personal opinion, I'll just go on with this, is I find that the newer stuff, like they have, it's closer to the script, it's nice to see that, they're leaving relationships alone and so on. But I find the voices to be, if like say you're doing something and you know you're working and you have it on in the background, it's hard to tell the difference between Sailor Moon, Naru-chan, Ami, Luna, and so on. Whereas if you watch the Deke version, you can tell who is talking at what times. Like that's just my own personal thing that I find. But I like both of them. I love Sailor Moon, period, and that's basically what we are. We're all fans and stuff, right? So, all right. The Sailor Moon R movie debuted December 1993. The Sailor Moon S movie, 1994, and the Super S movie is 1995. The Super S movie is actually in theaters August 4th and 6th right now in Vancouver. So they did the sub version on the 4th, so that's tomorrow. And then on Monday they're going to be doing the dub version, I believe is how it goes. All right, then we got Sailor Moon Crystal. Now here's another thing. How many of you prefer the older animation to Sailor Moon Crystal? And how many like Sailor Moon Crystal over the original?
Depends.
Okay. Depends on what?
I like last season's Crystal better.
I agree with you
I
there.
had story issues with Crystal in the first ones. I'm like, you're taking this seriously? No.
Yeah, and they're taking a long time with the next one. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sailor Moon Crystal is continuing on with the 4th season, but it's not going to be episodic. It's going to be 2 movies. So I don't know when they're going to be released. They kind of just at Anime Expo said that they're still working on it. They're just basically starting it. We might get it next year. We might not. I don't know if they're going to release them at the same time. If it's going to be like one this month and then like 6 months later they'll have another one, or what they're going to do. But I'm just hopeful that it's successful enough that they delve into Sailor Stars, because the way Crystal's doing it follows the manga, and the Sailor Stars manga is a heck of a lot different from the original anime that we know.
Yeah, I prefer the original anime because the original anime from the 90s, at least they made the villains sympathetic.
That's true.
And gave some of the ones that were died in the manga second chances.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you there too. No, there's lots to talk about with Sailor Moon, which is wonderful, which is why it's such a great series. And of course, it was a pioneering series for us here in North America as one of the first magical girl animes that we ever had here. Yep.
I prefer like, usually I prefer the manga, but I like what they did with Melania in the anime. Instead of just making her a runner, they actually gave her a backstory. And you got that whole, and made that more interesting, like, oh, random backstory and new girl.
Yes. It's always good when you can humanize the villains just a little bit. It makes them that more interesting. All right, the first North American broadcast premiere of the English dub, the original, was on YTV on August 1995. The final 17 episodes of the R series were specifically dubbed for Canadian audiences, which was really interesting as well, too. It had a massive following here in Canada before it really got a following in the States. I'm going to play a few nostalgic clips from the original English dub for you here. Don't be afraid to cry. You're all among friends, of course. I know some of you friends do that for me. But here we go. This is My Only Love.
Fast, you still interested in fighting for the rainbow crystals?
But you've got to guarantee a fair fight and Sailor Moon safety first.
Of course, I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, come on then. Let's get it over with.
You're on.
Watch out!
It's up to you now to get the crystals. And I want you to know that I've always been on your side and always will.
There's no place to go. It takes control. That's tuxedo mask. Yeah, I think we're too late. Dear David, you can't go, you can't. The feeling shows. Driven on a shooting star. There will come a day, somewhere far away. In your arms I'll stay, my only love. The crystals, they're becoming one. The imperial silver crystal. The feeling is so strong, my only love.
What happens now?
Maybe the princess will be revealed.
Now the best line of the whole series is about to be said.
It's Sailor Moon. She's the moon princess. I thought. Somewhere far away, in your arms I'll stay.
Finally found her, Optimus. And about time.
The deepest part of the secret in my heart. And from the start, my only love. Me suddenly a princess? No, this is way past weird.
So a lot of people think it's funny the way they talked back in the 90s anime. The directors actually told them that that's how they were supposed to do it. So whereas the newer dub, they're kind of more like localized, more recent way of talking and stuff. There's a lot of that way past weird and all that, and it kind of ages itself a little bit. We have some sad news from the original dub. We actually lost Kirsten Bishopbrook, who played Zoisite and Madame Badian and Esmeraude and Kayla Knight in the original dub. She passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. And recently, Dennis Akiyama, who was Malachite, passed away. He was also in the movie Pixels. He was the guy that created Pac-Man, if you saw that movie with Adam Sandler. Yeah, that was him. So he passed away recently as well, too. So some sad news from that. Now, here's another one, very iconic. I think I'll let him explain or talk for himself. This is Carry On.
I hope Serena's okay out there.
This is bad. It's getting colder by the minute. Queen Beryl was too strong for them. Luna, our scouts are doomed.
I can't believe we'll never see them again.
Sailor Moon, you've just got to believe in yourself. Please, don't let the Negaverse win. Everyone is counting on you. I hear you, Luna. I'm not afraid anymore. You should be. Cosmic move forward. Here I'm standing in the light. This evening, my present world, the only light. Do not give up, Serena. You can do this. But I sense my friend in me. I'll draw from each the flower I need. I am not letting you win this one wish. My friends are counting on me. Hey Serena, I'll help you with this assignment if you want. You are so stubborn, Serena. Let us help her. I'll never speak to you again. Yeah, let us help you put her away. Still too many guys we gotta meet. Let us help. We haven't known each other long enough for it to end yet. I do need all of you. Please, help me.
Now, my next question, is there anybody in here that's never actually seen the original Deke English dub before? A couple, okay. So seeing that, if you've seen the newer series, what do you think of that compared to the newer voices? Anybody? No one's a couple? The Viz one? Personally, I guess I'm a nostalgic person. I love the older one. It just brings back memories. Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually seen the newer version. I only seen like the older version, and I haven't actually seen it since I was a child.
Okay. Did that bring back memories for you?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that scene, but I remember seeing the scene before that. But it's funny because like when you're a kid, you don't really remember it being like super hammy. You're like, okay, it's just like a regular cartoon show. They're talking like normal people would talk, and then as an adult you're watching, it's like, oh.
Another one that I remember
was
is Samurai Pizza Cats. I don't know if you guys but that's for another time. So. Now, I have I've been going around and I've been doing performances and stuff because I do a lot of parody songs and cosplay and stuff. And one of my things this year is I've got a hashtag embrace the cringe. Well, there is some cringy parts of Sailor Moon, even more beyond than that, if some of you think that that was cringy. There was, back in the early 90s, before we got the Deke dub, a company called Toon Makers. And they wanted to do a hybrid live-action / animated version of Sailor Moon. And so I'm going to show you the only footage that they found so far. But it was at a convention, so it's kind of it's really shaky and stuff like that. There's not really a full episode that anybody's been able to dredge up. They did make an actual first episode for it, but this is what we have, and I hope that you enjoy. And let me know what you think. So we almost got this, just remember. actually released as toys back in the day. The best part is the reaction of the people after that you watch it. Now, one thing we did inherit was the logo. Familiar? So, I have a few pictures here that I'll show you. So these are what they would have been like. Mercury was actually in a wheelchair. That's Queen Barrel's ship. Now, something that just recently came to my attention, actually, Kotaku did a article, and they were looking for the original, the first episode of that. And they came up with another series that was shopped around in 1998 called Team Angel, which was supposed to be based on Sailor Moon. So I've got that little quick clip for you as well. So here we go. This is just brand new to me as well.
Today, Sailor Moon is popular around the world, but before the anime was released in the US in 1995, some ambitious Americans explored a different idea. Why not remake the show with American-style animation intercut with footage of real-life all-American teens? The full story of what happened to that legendary and lost pilot is complex. We didn't find the pilot, but while researching the story, we found something else. A second attempt at an American Sailor Moon created in 1998. This is Team Angel.
And there we have it. So, which one of those would you have preferred? I love showing this kind of stuff because honestly, like it's fun delving into the history
Some
of the
things are meant
series.
to be changed.
I love the background on your computer, by the way. It's very nice.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Sailor Moon being released in Canada with the original dub, was it the big Viz media dub or the deep dub? Because I can't remember which one exactly.
The deep dub was the original in 1995. Viz Media's dub came out in 2013 is when we started doing it. 2012, yeah, 2013, because I remember in 2012 when we had the voice actors at AR, they were talking about Crystal coming into being that year. So 2013 is when Crystal came in, and then Viz announced that they were getting the series rights.
Okay, and I saw the original. I wouldn't mind that. That actually could have been an interesting concept, but I think as far as animation and live action, leave that to Shining Time Station.
There you go. All right. So, as I mentioned before, the 17 episodes of Sailor Moon are the last few of them were dubbed specifically for Canadian audiences. And back in the day, they had to switch the Sailor Mars actress. They had Katie Griffin had to go because I think she was working on Totally Spies or one of the other ones at the time. So they brought in Emily Barlow. And then when they went to dub Sailor Moon S and Super S with Cloverway, they brought Katie Griffin back as Sailor Mars, and they had Emily Barlow take over as Sailor Venus from Stephanie Morgenstern. So there was a lot of voice actors hopping and stuff. The one thing that Viz is doing is they're keeping all of the voice actors the same throughout the whole series. So throughout all of Crystal, all of the original series with the new dub, it's all going to be the same voice actors, which is pretty neat. I think that's amazing. All right, let's go into something else that is, I guess, considered a little cheesy. Sailor Moon was brought into live action form in Japan in 2004, and it had its own little interesting bits. So let's watch the transformation sequences. This is from the Japanese version. 'The really neat thing about this series was that their hair was actual, like what you would see in Japan every day with a regular person, and then they transform into the wigs. So they have a little bit more anonymity. Kita Galactico, who played Mars, went on to be quite a movie star in Japan. Mercury became evil for a while. Instead of Sailor Moon, we have Luna as a human. And Sailor Moon got another form, her Princess Moon form. The live-action series was very much like Power Rangers. And of course, Sailor Moon got its start, basically, rooted in Power Rangers or Girl Ranger. And Naoko Takeuchi, of course, was a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation as well, too, which kind of gave her little bits and stuff. You have a question?
It's not a question, but until Crystal came out, actually that live adaptation, if you believe it or not, was the closest to the manga.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But they also did deviate a little bit, too.
I mean, compared to like the other stuff that had come out before.
That's true. 100%. It was weird, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but something happens to Sailor Venus in it that doesn't. It's weird, like, but it's the series. The series starts out with a lot of like the fighting scenes of cartwheels and dancing around and all that kind of stuff, but it gets a lot more serious towards the very end. And it's an amazing series if you get a chance to check it out. Yep.
Is there a way to like access it online or anything, or any way to buy the series?
I own it on DVD.
Yeah.
I bought it off of eBay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no official North American release, sadly. I mean, Viz needs to get on that. But I'm still waiting for the musicals to be licensed here too. So I mentioned before that there is some oddities that I'm going to throw in there for you. And I'm going to preface this a little bit, harkening back to the original Sailor Moon English dub. One of the biggest things to me was the voice change of Luna and Naru-chan between the English dub of Deke and Cloverway to Viz Media. Luna, I was used to that British Jill Frappier voice and so on. Luna now sounds like one of the others. But Naru-chan, I was so used to that Brooklyn-style accent. So there is a radio show that came out. It was 4 episodes back in the 90s called Sailor Moon Stupid. And it was ridiculous. And it was very, very bizarre. And I'm just going to play a little clip from that one here for you. Let's find where I put it here. I have so much stuff on here. There we go. All right, so this kind of plays on the evil Bills, the 3 Bills. Bill Bandai, Bill Clinton, and one of the other Bills. They're trying to take over the world. So they're throwing all these like bad guys and stuff at the Sailor Senshi. And one of the creations is Molly. So here we go. Hope it's not too loud.
Senji, you're just in time to witness the successor of my colorizing device.
What are you talking about?
1, 2, 3. Behold my creation!
Naruto!
United States. I am all powerful. Go forth, Molly, as they wait to call and the Japanese fans hold dear.
Let's get in our car and go get some clam chowder over here.
Sailor Moon pulls out her moon rod. Unfortunately, since the attack takes 30 seconds, Ken Turner has already moved somewhere else before she gets into her blinding pose.
Yeah, so that's just a little piece of that little gem. If you could ever look it up, it's on YouTube actually, you can find it there as well. And like I said, someone made an episode of a crossover between Sailor Moon and My Little Pony. So I've got to pull this up. I thought I had a shorter clip of it, but let me find the...
Lace monster, you'd always land on either your face or...
Well then, Miss Pretty Navy Guardian. Troublemaker who's been stealing all the magic. Ugh. Obviously, you don't know me very well.
1 second.
Quiet.
I must have more magic before my trip to the Crystal Empire. I smell a familiar source of magic. There's something off.
He's on to us. Whatever you do, Sailor Moon, don't go. And you're already gone.
A horrifying demon of darkness should never... Well, bad case of Valentine there. A horrifying demon of darkness should never take advantage on those ponies and rob them of their right to use magic. I am Sailor Moon, pretty soldier of love and justice, and in the name of the moon, I shall punish you.
You think you get the guts to stop me? If you want to challenge me, you're going to have to use something better than this useless weapon.
Sailor Moon, what were you thinking?
Well, it's good to see you again, Discord. Pardon that tiara in the head. As for you, little girl, you're not from here, are you? No wonder I smell your kind of magic.
You're not taking any more magic, T-Rex. Maybe an extended stay in Tartarus would teach you not to pick on those smaller than you.
I will never return to that forsaken prison. It reeks in there. I will have my vengeance and earn my place as ruler of all Equestria.
Not while I'm around.
And it's actually a full episode that you can find on YouTube. I just came across it one day and I thought that would be hilarious to show.
What was it called?
It's Sailor Moon Meets My Little Pony.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's amazing. So it favors Sailor Moon a little bit more than My Little Pony, but it is really, really fun. All right. The musicals. Now, I talked about them a little bit before. The musicals are kind of my favorite thing. There has been a Sailor Moon musical every year from 1993 to 2005, and then they took a bit of a hiatus. And back in 2013, did them up until last year. The official ones that have been doing the Sailor Moon musicals are on a kind of a hiatus this year, but there is a new group, a Japanese pop group actually called Nogizaka 46, that are playing the Sailor Senshi in their own rendition of it, and it's going to Paris as well too, which is really neat. Last year, or the year before, they brought the entire cast of the Sailor Moon musicals to Texas for Anime Matsuri, and I'm kicking myself for not going to see that. The main difference between the musicals before and the musicals now is, let's see if this is the right one. From 1993 to 1995, they had male and female actresses playing the roles. In the current musical, it's all females. And it's like a Japanese Terazuka, I think it's called, Terazumi. One second there. That's it, thank you. Takarazuka. There is a full picture here, I'm sure there is. Oh, no. The costumes are amazing. Let me just pull it up. There we go. So this one was from the Sailor Stars musical that just played last year. Very, very amazing, amazing show. Sailor Galaxia is, of course, from Sailor Stars. Has anybody seen Sailor Stars? Or yeah? How many have not seen Sailor Stars yet? You're in for a real treat. It's very dark. It's a very, very dark series. When it comes to Crystal, it'll be even darker than the original one was. So, I have a few books here I should actually show you guys. This is Sailor and Crystal art. And I'll have them up here like towards the end of the panel. If we finish off a little bit early, I can let you go through them. This one here is actually the original art from that Naoko Takeuchi used when she was like the basic drawings and stuff. You can see that some of the Sailor Senshi designs were different. They kind of did bring these into fruition in the live action series, but this is what they were supposed to look like originally, which was kind of neat. Sorry, I'm deviating from my musical talk, but I just remembered I have my books here. There's some clips from the Nogizaka 46 one that's going to be happening this year, so I figured I'd share some of them with you. There are two groups that are cosplaying, or not cosplaying, but performing as the Senshu. It's another Queen Beryl series. And Queen Beryl's being played by Nami Tamaki, best known for many, many, many anime theme songs out there, which is amazing. And Mikako Ishii, who played Sailor Pluto in the most recent iteration of the musicals, is Tuxedo Mask. So these are just some commercials for Team Moon and Team Star from Nogizaka 46. Basically, it's just different Moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus actresses. This will also be the first time that Naruja and Irino will be in the musicals. They've never had them in here before. They had Haruna Sensei in the very, very first one. She was one of the demons that they fought. And they actually had Luna and Artemis in the very first musical too. They were basically just people dressed up in cat costumes. It was very cheesy, and they did not continue that after that. So, and it just didn't exist anymore. So interestingly enough, they did do a musical, like after the original story finished, there was such an outcry for the musicals to continue that they came up with their own stories. So there was an island special one with pirates and an ancient civilization that came back on a comet, and there were little kittens on the island, and that was another neat one. And then they did a vampire trilogy, which was insanely, just insane. Like you have to watch it with subtitles and you're still really confused on what's going on, but it's an amazing, amazing trilogy. Yep.
Can you find any of these online with subtitles?
The musicals, they're kind of being taken down. Like you can find clips of them on YouTube, but not like the full musicals. There's one or two of them that I've been able to find on there still. But most of the time you just gotta, I buy mine from CD Japan.
Okay, so you can buy it.
Oh yeah, but they're very expensive. When I bought Mouvement Final, with shipping and handling from Japan, it came to almost $150 for the DVD.
But it had subtitles?
No. No. They have to be fan sub, which is why I'm hoping that Viz Media will pick up on this one day if there's enough fan outcry. I don't know if there is enough for it, because it is still not very well known by a lot of people, which is why I love to share this kind of stuff, because the musicals are so much more emotional than the anime can even get. Yep.
Yeah, there was, I think, either this year or last year, they've been releasing musicals in theaters.
Yep.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen them.
Yeah, actually, Lore Conquista was played here in Vancouver last year as well, which was amazing, and it would be really neat to see that happen. They actually subtitled it. It was actually the company that did it, but they never released it on DVD with subtitles, which just, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Well, for the musicals, if there's enough outcry, but some of the people I am unsure of how to release it over for North American audiences, maybe after they package it as a bonus feature.
I agree. That's a good idea. Good idea. All right, I'm going to show you another clip from the Le Mouvement Final, which was the most recent musical of 2017. This is their appearance theme, and I love this song. It's very, it gets you in the mood of like, oh, they're going to have a battle and so on. And being Sailor Stars, they have to do it early on in the show because everybody dies later. So, all right, let me find it here. Yeah, but you know it. This is the fan sub version, of course.
セーラー戦士は逃げも隠れもいたしません。愛と正義のセーラーショート選手セーラームーンただいまキャッチャー現れたわね。みんなが楽しみにしていた音楽祭、しかも歌の途中を邪魔するなんて、このセーラームーンが月に止まってあっきよやれるもんならやってみなさい。あんたのセーラームーンでこのアイアンマウスがいただく
So that is just one of the scenes of the musicals. Like I said, there's many of them out there. 1993 to 95, they would do 2 of them usually a year. There was the first one, and then they do the Kaitaban, which is the revised version. Usually it was like a spring, winter, or summer, winter kind of a thing. And now, as they've been doing them, they only run them for a limited time, usually September or October, for just a few of them. And that Sailor Pluto is the one that's playing Tuxedo Mask in the current musicals that I showed earlier. So, all right, what else do I have here to share with you guys? There is a classic concert coming up, actually. It's going to be playing in Japan this fall. It's all of the 90s classical music orchestrated, which is fantastic. There's a little, 1 second here. I think I've got all the information here. Sorry, it takes a while to load this stuff. Should have this ready.
Sorry, I just have a quick question.
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite rendition, like out of all the Sailor Moon musicals, which one's your favorite rendition of Sailor Moon herself?
Anza.
Okay.
The very first one that played her, Oyama Anza. I've always loved her. She just, to me, always felt like the main one. And thank you, I should actually bring that up. There were 6 actresses that played Sailor Moon up till the Nobizaka 46 one. And Oyama Anza, who was the first one from 1993 to 1998, is now in a heavy metal band called Headphones President. So she went from singing Sailor Moon music to death metal, heavy metal, and screamo. So, yeah. Fumina Hara played her from 1998 to, well, I think it was mostly 98, 99. And she was more of the kind of quiet one, I would say, and reserved. Kanbei Miyuki played her from 2000 to 2001, and unfortunately, when she was 21 years old, she passed away of heart disease. And Marina Kuroki took over the role in 2001 and played her until 2005 when they went on their hiatus. And then it was, the most recent one was Hotaru, and before that, I can't remember her name, the one from 2013 to 2015. Do you remember?
No.
No. There was, what they did is, they had a, Sailor Moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus did La de Conquista, which was the Queen Beryl story in 2013. Then they changed out the actress for Mercury, and the others stayed on until the end of S. And then they brought in a bunch of new ones for Moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus for the last 2 Super S and Stars. And after this year's, with the Nobizaka 46, nobody really knows what's going to happen. There has been an announcement that it is going to continue, but whether it's going to be a new story or if they're going to rehash Queen Beryl again, I don't know. There's a video game out there called Sailor Moon Another Story. It is an RPG, which is amazing. It's my 2nd favorite RPG of all time, and that's saying something because I am obsessed with Sailor Moon. Chrono Trigger's the only one that beats it in my eyes, but it basically retells the story of Queen Beryl, RS, little bit into Super S, and it's just an amazing RPG. If you can find it on an emulator, it's great. And I've noticed that some people have them out in Super Nintendo cartridges, whether they emulated it themselves or not, but it's such a good game. And the basic story is that there's these other senshi called the Opposito Senshi that work for this big bad, of course, and they're named Sin for Sailor Moon, Ishtar is Venus, Nabu is Mercury, Marduk is Jupiter, and Venus is, Ishtar is Venus. Nergal is Mercury. I'm getting them all mixed up, but they're all based on gods, and it's such an amazing game, and it really, really takes you into it. So if you have an emulator or anything, take a look for it online. You'll probably see some people on YouTube playing it as well. But I think that storyline, if they adapted it into a musical, would be amazing. So, all right, the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Classic Concert will take place in Tokyo August 28th and 9th, and in Osaka September 7th. They're going to have orchestral arrangements from the 1990s version of Sailor Moon. They'll have Akiko Kosaka, the composer for Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal, violinist Mariko Terashita, Suguru and Tsukume, and of course Sailor Galaxia voice actress Mitsuko Horie. The thing about this is she has been heavily involved in a lot of the stuff that they've been doing with the music, so I am wondering if when they get to Sailor Moon Crystal's version of Stars, if she will come back and reprise Sailor Galaxia. Because then you'd have Sailor Moon, the original Sailor Moon, and then the original Sailor Galaxia. That would be the icing on the cake, right? So we'll see what happens. I don't know, it's just speculation. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I have some questions and prizes if anybody wants to do a little bit of trivia. Oh, you have a question in the back? I'm sorry? I can't hear. Did you want to come up here and answer? Or sorry, I can't hear you from back there.
What about Molly Baker from Sailor Moon?
Molly? Yeah, that's Naru-chan. In Japanese. That's when we played the clip earlier with the Sailor Moon Stupid Radio play and stuff, that's Molly Baker. She was named Molly Baker in the original English dub, and she's appearing in the new musical, but as Naru-chan in Japan, of course. So it's the first time that they'll ever have her and Umino, which is Melvin, in the musicals, which I think is amazing. So, okay, trivia time. Anybody up for some trivia? Okay. So I have some prizes here. I've got some tattoos. I've got some. What else do I have here? I've got some bookmarks. Oops. And I just lost my little page there. Daniel, can you please grab it from me? Thank you. All right. In Sailor Moon S, the anime, which character's heart crystal was taken first?
Oh, what?
Yes, in the back. Yes, you can come up and grab a prize here. All right. What are Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune's attack in the Stars manga? Their newer attacks.
Stars? Dang.
Anybody? Yes.
Is it submarine reflection and space sword blaster?
No. They do use it, but these are newer attacks in the Stars. No, that's a good try, good try. Anybody? It's Space Turbulence and Violent Tide. What year did Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon live action debut in Japan? Yes. Nope. The live action. Yep.
Didn't you say it was 2004?
I did say it was 2004, and I was wrong, but I'm going to give it to you. It's 2003. But yes. I gave out false information, but I admit it. 2003, yes. October 4th. I think that was around the same time that Utada put out their English album. Anyway, you can choose. There you go. Which actress from the original anime returned for Sailor Moon Crystal? Yes.
The one who plays Sailor Moon.
Yep. Do you know her name?
Yoshino. The name escapes me.
That's okay. You're close enough. Kotono Mitsushi. But yeah, you can come up here and grab one. What river did Sailor Leaf and Nemesis guard in the manga?
Say that again? Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yep. What river did Sailors Leaf and Sailor Nemesis guard in the manga?
I'm gonna guess and say Styx.
Yes.
Yeah.
River Styx or Oblivion. Good guess.
That's a guess made off of Greek mythology.
Excellent. In the anime, what types of people are Mimette obsessed with making her primary targets? Yeah.
It's the dolls in the castle, isn't it?
Nope. What types of people? Yeah, famous, specifically.
Oh, men.
Men, yes, you got it. Famous men. She's a little sexist that way. How many rainbow crystals converge to form the Ginzuisho? Yes.
7?
Yep. Aside from Moonlight Densetsu, on occasion, what song is shared by the anime and the musicals, the original musicals? Any? There's a song that was used as a battle song in the anime, sung by the original actresses from the Sailor Moon musicals, and it was the theme song of the musicals. They played it all the time.
The first opening of Sailor Moon.
Nope. You can't answer, Daniel.
No, and I think I know the answer, so I'm waiting until someone says it.
Anybody? No? You think you know the answer?
I think, but I don't want to go for a prize.
Oh. Well, what do you think it is?
Last Soldier?
You got it, yeah. You might as well come up for a second prize, that's all right. Good job. Last Soldier. So Last Soldier was played at the end of pretty much every Sailor Moon musical up until 2005. They did not bring it back for the newer ones. It was also used as the final battle against Junkan in the Sailor Moon R series. This is another musical kind of related one, but it's Kawabe Chieko has ties to 2 Sailor Moon related series. What are they and what are her roles? If anyone can get this, I'm got two manga for you.
Oh.
It's a little tough.
What was the question again? Can you restate it?
Yep, Kawabe Chieko has ties to two Sailor Moon related series. What are they and what are her roles?
Are those the short stories?
Nope, are these ones? Yes. Actually, they could turn these into mini movies.
They should.
They should totally do that. Anybody? She was Sailor Mercury in the musicals with Miyuki, and she played Naru-chan in the live action version. So I didn't expect many people to get that one. But all right, which is not a Sailor Moon attack? A. Starlight Honeymoon Therapy Kiss. B. Rainbow Moon Heartache. C. Solar Miracle Moon Crisis Galaxy. D. Moon Gorgeous Meditation. Yes.
C.
C. Yep. Solar Miracle Moon Crisis Galaxy is not. Okay.
But it sounds epic enough.
That's the. Did you say that's the most absurd one?
Yeah.
They're all absurd. Well, Starlight Honeymoon Therapy Kiss.
Yeah, I feel like C was.
Now, Hotaru translates to what in English? Yes. Yes, you can come up and grab a prize. Hotaru, Sailor Savage name, translates to firefly. Excellent. So yeah, the tattoos or the bookmarks here. All right, technically, two ending themes were used for Sailor Moon S in Japanese. The first two episodes of Sailor Moon S had a different one from the rest of it. What were these two ending theme songs in Japanese?
Which Sailor Moon was it?
Sailor Moon S, so the third season.
Oh, okay.
No guesses? We've got Otomo no Policy, which was the ending theme for Sailor Moon R, which carried over, and then Tuxedo Mirage was the other one. All right, got a couple more here for you. Which two of the original 5 girls are the first to meet Haruka and Michiru? Yep.
It's Venus and Moon, right?
Yep, you got it.
I already got it.
That's okay, I'll grab another. Okay, this is another musical one, I'm sorry. Which male actor returned in the newest musical adaptations to voice Chaos in Le Mouvement Finale? Anybody going to attempt? I'm sorry, that one was hard. Ryuji Kasahara, he played a lot of kind of minor villain roles in the original musicals. He actually played a villain called Kyasu, Chaos, and he came back to voice Chaos in the musicals where it's all just the female actresses. And what is the name of the Sailor Moon RPG for Super Famicom? I mentioned it earlier. Yes, at the very back. Sorry? Yep, Sailor Moon Another Story. You can come up and grab a prize. I forgot, I have a little bit more stuff here, not really prize related, but just some interesting little things I wanted to say to you guys here. We've got about 9 more minutes left, so. Ami changed the most in development when Naoko Takeuchi was making it. At first, Sailor Mercury was going to be Minako's friend Hikaru, who already looked a lot like Ami, because Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi first started with the Sailor V manga before going into Sailor Moon. The first 2 volumes of Sailor V were completed, then she went and did the whole series of Sailor Moon, and then she came back and did the last to finish up Sailor V. And Ami was going to be a cyborg girl with an accelerator who would eventually die from losing one of her body parts. Her editor objected, so Ami became a fully human character with an intellect on a level that made her seem less human, although Takeuchi did eventually revisit elements of the cyborg idea with Kotaku. Makoto was originally a delinquent gang leader named Mamoru Chino. This was toned down to people mistaking Makoto for a delinquent despite her not actually being aggressive. Rei originally had the name Miyabi Yoruno, and the earliest proposal for a Sailor V spin-off, which featured Hikaru and Mamoru as part of the team, didn't have Usagi present at all. Haruka and Michiru's original concept was a pair of performers in the real-world all-female Takarazuka review, of which Takeuchi's a huge fan. This is why they were always portrayed as lovers. While their hobbies changed, their status as lovers stayed consistent. Naoko wanted to dramatically kill off all of the girls in the Battle with the Dark Kingdom in the manga, but her editor rejected the idea. She later stated that she was baffled when the anime was able to get away with it, even though they resurrected it with a reset button at the end. The infamous Toon Makers produced live-action American animated pilot that Toei passed on in favor of the English dub by Geek Entertainment. We went over that earlier. Hotaru was originally going to have what was referred to as a druid staff, a small brooch, Saturn on her bow, and her fugu color was going to be yellow ochre. According to a promotional video, tentative dub names originally, Usagi was going to be Celeste instead of Serena, Makoto was Maggie, Minako was Monica, Mamoru would have been Mark, only Amy and Ray would have retained their close names, and Naru-chan and Motoki would be Nadine and Michael.
It's not his dream, it's an area.
Yeah, I know. Diana was supposed to be a fairy that was found by the Senshi on the moon. That's actually in this art book here too. And she would accompany Usagi and Luna and not get along with Luna at all. Though the fairy character was dropped, her name and certain character traits were kept and used for Luna and Artemis's daughter for the future, so Diana. And animation director Yoichi Fukano designed the final form for Sailor Moon for the Sailor Moon stars, known as Sailor Moon Lysenia, or Sailor Moon Swan. It forewent the Sailor motif in favor of a strange transition state between Sailor Moon and Princess Serenity, and they kind of worked with that when they went with the live-action series as well. And that is it. Thank you very much, you guys, for coming. Hope you enjoyed the talk. I'm doing a couple of other ones this weekend. I'm doing a concert panel on Sunday morning in room 121. It's parody songs and stuff like that. I'll be doing my song where I transform from Goku into Sailor Moon. I'm in the swimsuit contest tomorrow. It's kind of an 18+ panel if anybody wants to see that. It's I'm cosplaying Magical Girl Oi, which is very Sailor Moon-like, but not. And I'm also doing the Bara versus Yali 18+ panel tomorrow night. So thank you very much, guys. If you want, you can come up and take a look at the books here that I've got. And thank you so much for coming.